So bolt action again tonight, and this is sort of final preparation for the Phoney War. I think my friend has settled down on his Quantong army, and we've got it here. He's got 2 units of grenadiers, and both the grenadiers have got 2 light mortars in. He's got a little medium anti-tank gun there, sniper, 2 suicide anti-tank guys. He's got a small veteran scout unit. He's got the Yaigo. He's got a normal unit of Japanese infantry on bikes. He's got a Type 88 heavy anti-tank gun, and he's got a load of bullocks, and that's what's going to be pulling them. So that's his army, 1,000 points, 13 dice. So see how that runs. I think this is what he's decided on, so should be interesting. Final incantation of my Africa Korps for the Phoney Wars, and we are looking at 2 reinforced rifle platoons. First platoon has a lieutenant and his mate. That's the second lieutenant, and has got a Panzer II. It's got 2 units of 8 infantry with rifles and a light machine gun in each. A pioneer unit, and that's got a flamethrower, 4 submachine guns, and the NCO with a rifle. The next platoon is 1 second lieutenant on his own, the truck, 2 5-man rifle units, a medium mortar, a Panzer III. The medium mortar has a spotter, and I've got a sidecar which takes up the armoured car slot. So this is what I'll be taking. So we'll see how that faces tonight. Here we are for tonight's game. We're playing Hold Until Relieved, and we're looking at a airstrip in the jungle with the Germans, Africa Korps, taking on the Japanese. So the key objective is the little tower in the middle. It's going to be a building rather than bunkers. So the 3 trees is going to be dense terrain. The scatter is just light cover, and then sandbags hard cover. The bomb craters are difficult ground, and then we've got the ruins, which are dense terrain and give the hard cover. Over this side we've got a little river and a bridge, and the river can't be crossed by wheeled vehicles. It can be crossed by troops on foot and tracked vehicles and half tracks. Other than that, it's just difficult ground, so wheeled vehicles and troops can't run through it. Or tanks, they've got to go at an advance. Crops are just light cover and difficult ground, and that's it. The Africa Korps will be setting up first, and with point defence you can put 2 units on the board, and then you have to half your remaining troops. Half come on as your first wave, and then half come on as reserve. The opposing player can put on half to all of theirs in the first wave. Deploy them onto the board, but they've got to be 18 inches away from the centre of the objective. So that's what we're running, and that's what we're going to play. So we'll come back at a little bit more exciting position. Alright, Japanese have decided to put quite a few troops on. So Japanese could set up within 18 inches from the objective, or 18 inches anywhere on the table away from the objective or my troops that I've put down. So we have over on this side, we have a grenadier unit and a sniper in the ruins. We've got a mad suicide man behind the trees. We've got an infantry unit on the table by the officer and the Yaigo. Yaigo, you go, Yaigo.
Yeah, yogurt.
And then we've got the little medium anti-tank gun.
Light anti-tank gun.
Light anti-tank gun behind the ruin. So he's going to no doubt advance into that. Hiding in the ruin there is the Type 88. I'll swap to my camera and get a better picture of that one because I think it's quite funky, that. So we'll have a look. And then we've got a scout unit.
Yeah, I know.
With the flag? No, that's an infantry unit.
There's just veteran infantry through them.
Right.
On that side, they're grenadiers.
That's another grenadier unit in the foliage,
Yep.
and a mad suicide man, and then a scout unit just around the side of the little pillbox there. I've set up my first two units, one behind the objective, my spotter for my mortar, and then my mortar behind the foliage. So that's the start of it, and we'll move into turn 1, where the first wave is for the defender, which is the Africa Korps, to come on. End of turn 1, and let's run through. The IGO came on and took a shot at the infantry, but missed that unit in the centre there with the 5 men, but it missed it. The grenadier unit advanced forward and tried to plonk some mortars on them as well, but they missed. The scout section moved up behind hard cover behind the plane. I brought on a unit of infantry and they killed 1 man and put 1 pin on. The 88 took a pot shot at the infantry. It took -1 for turning, but so it only needed a 4 for the infantry. Scored a hit and killed 4. Hit 4 under the template and killed 2, but got an exceptional damage and killed the LMG guy. I then brought on my little Panzer II, and the little Panzer II took a shot at the grenadier squad in the crater and was able to kill 2 and put on 2 pins. But he's at a bit of a risk now because that little suicide man knows where my tank is, out in the open, or the 88's going to shoot him. The mortar took a plonk at the grenadier squad as well, but missed. Second lieutenant came on and ran behind the bush, and the unit of small unit of regular DAC moved behind the wall. The little light anti-tank gun moved into the house. The infantry unit is up behind the wood. The grenadiers in the other building took a shot with the mortars at the infantry unit there, but missed.
Out of range.
They were out of range. So that was it. That was the end of turn 1 with the first wave of the DAC coming on and the on-table Japanese. So fairly balanced at the moment. We shall see what comes up with the first dice. So moving into turn 2. So end of turn 2. And let's go through. First up, the Germans got the dice out of the bag, so the Panzer II took a shot at the grenadier unit in the middle. They were down, but I still managed to take another one of them off and put 2 more pins on them. The big gun took a shot at the Panzer II and missed. The little squad there put a pin on the infantry section in front of them. I then moved my officer across to give them the +1 to rally them, and I then rolled 2 6s for a foo bar, which meant they shot the nearest unit, which was the little unit here, and that put a pin on them. Only killed 1 and put a pin on. When I got my dice, I took a leadership test, run them forward and shot at the guys behind the wall, but small team, moved. Hard cover, we're on 6s followed by 6s, didn't do very much. Over on here, the Pioneers came on and debussed, and they took a shot with their 4 SMGs at the guys, again needing 7s, 6s followed by 6s, and didn't do anything. Unit in the middle went down and took a few shots from artillery, the sort of knee mortar again, and took a casualty and took 2 pins. You got another shot at them. So the Igo was in a position, but didn't do very much. So we're moving into turn 3. Oh yeah, the infantry unit there advanced on for the Japanese. So moving into turn 3. End of turn 3, and there has been some casualties. The mortar was able to get a shot in on the Type 88 and killed the 4 crew, which was quite useful. The little grenadier squad went down and stayed down, so lost 2 pins. The takes over and advanced, and the motorcycle advanced on and takes some shots, but with the 7s, 6s requiring 6s didn't do anything. Unit here is on ambush, but with 2 pins. Little officer guys are in the middle of the wood. In the middle, the infantry section have caused the scout unit to retreat, and they've taken the position after the hard cover. The unit in the middle there have taken another casualty, gone down to 3 men, but they've got 2 pins. Flamethrower team is on, the pioneers are on ambush. The section of 3 men is on a down. The Japanese have advanced into the woods, well, into the shrubland, and took a shot at the guys behind the hard cover, but missed. Well, didn't miss, didn't get any hits. The other Japanese squatters pushed up into the small courtyard of the wall there. The grenadiers have come out to lob their mortars. Snipers people have moved to get a position to take a shot, and the suicide man has come out to behind the hard cover to threaten the tank. And the tank came on to take a shot at the Igo, who had missed its shot and didn't hit the Igo, so it's there still for turn 4. So not much happened apart from the big 88 going, which was quite useful. So moving into turn 4, we should see some more action coming out now. End of turn 4. So the little motorcycle was on ambush. The suicide man decided to move. I put a pin on him but couldn't kill him with the 6 shots. Over here, the Panzer II took the opportunity to run, covered by the motorcycle, and made a dash for the left hand side and is moving towards the centre. The unit which was on ambush on the previous turns went on to take a run move, and the officers have taken a run move to move over to the centre. The mortar had a really good lucky shot and took out the light anti-tank gun which was in the ruin. Over here the Japanese are holding firm in the centre. The Igo came out and took a shot, but he missed, didn't he?
Yeah,
and the machine guns took a miss. He was shooting at hard cover, but did miss there. The pioneers are still on ambush, looking to take out the little man there. The Panzer III tried 12 shots at him, rolled 4 6s, but they needed to turn those into 6s again just to get an opportunity to try and wound. Unit in the centre went down to the shooting by the Japanese section there, and fortunately didn't take any pins or any hits. Snipers moved again to get in a better position. The mortar team moved, took a shot, rolled 2 5s, so they're needing 5s this turn to take some people out. So yeah, moving into turn 5. Looking at what we can do. Japanese have lost a couple of dice. Germans are still okay, but there's a lot of Japanese infantry threatening the centre. So moving into 5. End of turn 5, and the Japanese have advanced into the centre of the table and have taken the objective. The Japanese squad right by the control tower charged the unit of 3, wiped them out, and then took 1 move back across the wall. You got the unit into the centre, which had moved across into the crater. I took a shot with the troops on ambush, but they were down 2 pins and they couldn't do anything. The Pioneer Squad unfortunately went on to 4 pins this turn. I had to put them down because they were going to get another lot of shots. Still got 4 pins on them. Panzer III has moved away to try and just put a little bit of distance between the suicide guy and the tank. Panzer II had a snap to it, so I ran one of the infantry sections up to the middle and ran the Panzer tank up into the centre, took a couple of shots at the IGO, hit it but couldn't penetrate it, couldn't even glance it. Sadly with the light autocannon the IGO's 8 on the front, so I'd needed a 6 to glance, but didn't get it. The little motorcycle team went up close to shoot at the people in the crater, but didn't get them, so they live again. They failed their test to shoot, so stayed down. Snipers on the top, looking to take some shots, but took one person out. The mortar team, they didn't have a target this time, so we'll see what they do next turn. My mortar fired at the tank, but didn't get a 6 this time, so it survived. As we move into turn 6, it's going to be tricky to dislodge the Japanese, I think, at this stage, but we'll see where we go. Turn 6, and the Afrika Korps have tried to make a break into the compound with the tanks. Didn't work. I tried to move up the Panzer III to take out the IGO to leave a clear space for my Panzer II. Didn't do it, so the IGO come up and blocked the Panzer III from getting into 3 inches. Panzer II getting into 3 inches. Panzer II took a shot on the side of the IGO, didn't manage to penetrate it, but did put a pin. The Japanese unit next to it advanced forward. The Afrika Korps, I decided to retreat was the better part of valour, because otherwise I was going to start to lose dice. The only chance I think I've got is to get a draw and then go on dice, on kills, but at the moment we've got 3 German kills to 2 Japanese kills, so Japanese are edging it just at the moment. The units here have run off. They've got a few pins on them, and then the motorcycle has been trying to take some shots at the grenadiers, but they've gone down as well. We rolled the dice and 4's come up, so we're going to have one last turn, see if we can get the objective and perhaps a couple of kills, but there is some real risks for the Germans. We've got one suicide guy just at the side there, and we've got another suicide guy just at the front there, so it's a good chance that the tanks are going to go. End of turn 6, and it was as I feared. The Japanese dice came out first, and the suicide guy took out the Panzer III. I advanced up the Panzer II within 3 inches and took a shot at the IGO on the side, but again didn't really do any damage with the light autocannon. And then the suicide guy was the next dice out, and that took out the 2 tanks. I had nothing else to put pressure on to get the objective, so a win to the Japanese, which is some revenge for last week's game.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Yep, so yeah, a real tight game. I'll go through as a little roundup as to my thoughts on it and how it ran. So, speak to you in a bit. I always feel as if I'm up against the Japanese and the way Colin uses them, and the little suicide guys for the tanks are a real pain in the backside. I think our biggest problem on this scenario was my initial deployment, and I put the infantry too far to the right, which made it really difficult to slog them across to get to the main objective, the hold until relieved, being the building at the end of the runway. So I realised that a couple of turns in, thinking, good grief, I'm going to have to try and get them across. And with that, the Japanese are across the board, and they're swamping it. Bit of a shame I couldn't take out the IGO. It is a
tricky little tank, that Japanese one. Quite good armour, and come with a light howitzer, and it can do real grief to units. So yeah, a loss to the Africa Corps, and some revenge for Colin. So thank you very much for listening. If you like it, please hit the buttons, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hope to get this one up very soon, and get another battle report out as soon as we can. So thank you very much.